Everyone has had bad days. However, next time you feel yourself slipping into a bad mood because of something annoying that's happened, remember that other people have definitely had it a lot worse than you. Don't believe me? Well, here's a list of people who are definitely having a worse day than you. So just in case you're lucky enough to have never gone through it, when you go to get an allergy test, they inject you with a bunch of different allergens to see what it is that your skin will react to. Unfortunately for this girl, her test didn't narrow it down too much. There are going to be a lot of wrecked car interiors in this list, but spilled paint has got to be one of the worst to ruin your ride. With that said, it actually seems to be pretty common, whether you store your paint in the trunk, in the back seat, or even up front with you in the passenger seat. Maybe avoid all the risk and just seal it properly. Going caving is a pretty dangerous hobby, and there are a lot of pretty normal ways it could turn into a very bad day. With that said, accidentally finding a hibernating bear might be one of the most unusual, not to mention the most terrifying. Accidentally leaning in wet paint is one of the quickest ways to ruin your own day. But it's even worse when there was clearly a sign, because now you can't blame anyone else. So the worst thing about this clip is that the guy is being so careful, like he's trying to move his wiper blade so it doesn't get caught in the car wash. However, he ends up getting his door ripped off as a result, and that's something soap and water is never going to fix. The best thing about playing tug of war is that you get to see your opponents fall in the mud. But during this game, neither team got to experience that pleasure. In fact, not only did both teams end up sitting in the dirt, but the game couldn't have lasted more than a few seconds. What a ripoff. There are many ways you can look like a lame driver, but this guy's ride very literally went from flame to lame in just one letter. And unless he's got some super strong glue laying around, it looks like it's staying that way. Speaking of car-based disasters, is there anything worse than spilling food on your brand new interior? The answer is yes. Accidentally dumping a full cup of Coke is way worse. Not only is the sugar going to make it gross and sticky as well as cold, but this guy could have avoided this by using his cup holder for an actual cup instead of hand sanitizer. So it looks like these guys are going through some kind of army training, so I'm guessing that they're all pretty tough. With that said, no matter how hardcore you might think you are, getting sprayed with water while you have to pay attention to your superior has got to really suck. Blowing bubblegum bubbles is one of life's simple pleasures. That is, until you give a pack of bubblegum to a super competitive person. This guy has obviously taken things way too far, and it's come back to bite him in a big way. With that said, it doesn't look like any got stuck in his hair, so things could have been a lot worse. Be wary of trees. Why? Well, this woman had a porcupine fall out of a tree straight onto her head, while this dude poked his head into a hole in a tree where a porcupine was hiding and got this less than friendly welcome. So imagine there's a small fire at your house, so you call the fire department to put it out. However, there's one small problem. When the fire engine turns up, it's on fire too. I don't know what you do in this situation. Maybe call a second fire engine to put out the first one, but either way, you're having a pretty bad day. Don't you hate it when you just can't get a snack out of the vending machine? Well, imagine that happened to you 6 times in a row. That would be enough to put anyone in a bad mood. But on the other hand, someone else is about to have a really good day when every bag falls down at once. I'm guessing this woman just added the chair to her basket without really thinking about it. However, it's a good reminder that you really should check the sizes before you buy anything, because what you think is a really cheap chair might just be a chair for a doll's house, or a mouse. So I really don't know if this person is having a bad day or not. I mean, sure, they're going to have to wait hours to get that cup of ice water they wanted, but on the other hand, they're rich enough to afford a pretty fancy fridge. Not just that, but taps exist, so they could easily get a glass of water if they could bear to drink it without ice. This has got to be every kid's worst nightmare. Waking up and finding out you've completely missed an exam by text. That's got to be one of the most painful messages to receive. I don't even know how this one happened. I mean, how do you accidentally iron a bag of marshmallows? Either way, this will ruin anyone's day, because not only do they have to clean all the gooey mess off their iron, but they barely have any marshmallows left. So I know this picture is kind of adorable, but it's also a bad day double whammy. Why? Well, this kid probably wasn't having a good time when this picture was taken, but I bet they get more and more embarrassed every time this picture gets pointed out in the family photo album. To be honest, if you try and open your car door and it does this, then it's probably time you bought a new car. With that said, if this person's door is like that because someone else ran into them, then their day is just as ruined. But I'm not sure if that's better or worse. So there are two possible answers to who's having a bad day in this picture. I mean, obviously the girl who accidentally dyed her skin pink isn't having a great time. But I'm guessing the lying paint company won't be having a great time when they get a lawsuit through the mail. Ripping your pants is never fun or convenient, no matter where or when it happens. However, I think ripping your trousers when you're marching in formation is one of the worst possible times because you can't even run away and get changed. You've just got to carry on unwillingly advertising your privates to onlookers. We've seen a couple of car disasters already on this list, but none of them has been as ironic as this one. I mean, it's already funny because the car is doing exactly what the license plate said it would, but it's actually even better because I guarantee someone bought that plate thinking it would make them look cool. So when you get snow on your driveway or ice on your windshield, it kinda sucks, and it might even make you late for work. With that said, it's way easier to explain than what happened to whoever owns this car. I mean, they probably had to take a couple of hours just to kick themselves for leaving their window open. You know when you regret something as soon as you do it? Well, I'm guessing this person had a moment a bit like that. I mean, not only is their day ruined because they can't use their hand and have to go to A&E, but everyone in the hospital will be staring at them wondering what on earth they've done. Have you ever thrown a party in your house and then come downstairs the next day to find it way messier than you thought it was? Well, that's how I'm guessing the owner of this kitchen felt, except they didn't even get to have a party in the first place. Getting stuck in the rain is one of the most miserable experiences on the planet, and this guy obviously knew that because he brought an umbrella. Unfortunately, the umbrella he owned wasn't going to do him any good, unless he needed to hit someone in the face with it to make a quick getaway. When you enter the lottery, you know your chances of winning are pretty low, so it's normally not that sad when your numbers don't come up. However, playing and ending up with numbers this close to the winning ticket has really got to suck. Being at the dentist is already a pretty stressful situation, but I think if I accidentally sucked on my dentist's finger, I'd be too mortified to ever go back. The worst part is this person had a mouthful of water, so they probably couldn't even explain what they'd done or apologize. Snow days are great. You get time off work or school, and all you have to do all day is lay about in pajamas drinking hot chocolate. With that said, if I opened the door to see this much snow outside, well, let's just say I wouldn't be excited to get the shovel out. Now, I don't know who's having a worse day. The girlfriends who bought this cup without looking inside it, or the boyfriends they accidentally gave it to. I'm going to go with the guys, because even if they're excited about the news, they then have to be told it's not actually true. Nothing is worse than accidentally ruining your own work, whether that's losing an essay because you forgot to save it or knocking your cup of tea over the painting you're working on. This sculptor had to watch hours of work get smashed into nothing, but at least now they can lie and say it's modern art. Dropping your phone always sucks, but some places are definitely worse than others. For example, you never want to drop it into an alligator enclosure. Try getting that one back. I really feel for this guy. I mean, not only has he started his commute to work by getting absolutely covered in snow, but now he has to sit and wait for all of it to melt. That means damp clothes and a damp car. Not a great start to the day if you ask me. Knowing what to wear to a party can be an absolute nightmare, especially if it's a vague theme like green-blue. I applaud this guy for making the effort, but it turns out blue is a German expression for being drunk and green is for weed. He clearly screwed up. This isn't just a bad day. This is a horror movie waiting to happen. I mean, if I got on a plane and part of the wing came off during takeoff, I would have no problem insisting we get back on the ground as soon as humanly possible. Honestly, I'm not even sure how this one happened. I mean, what are the odds of managing to tear a strip out of every banana you bought just by picking them up? Anyway, I'm guessing the moral here is just to not eat fruit. This image is art. It perfectly demonstrates the impact a poor kid had on the cement. Well, at least you can't say he didn't leave an impression in life. I'm still betting the builder had a worse day than him, though. So I don't think it actually matters whether you're scared of bees or not. If this happens to your car, then you're definitely not going near it. With that said, if you are scared of bees, then this goes from just a very bad day to something that will be haunting your nightmares for years. When you think of super intimidating people who never have embarrassing moments, I'm guessing SWAT teams are somewhere near the top of that list. Turns out though, they're just as capable of being caught with their trousers down as the rest of us. This picture isn't just tragic, it's also seriously ironic. If I saw this on the floor, I think I might just lose it. So out of all the super unfortunate things that can happen to you and ruin your day, what's the worst one? The answer is of course spilling your beer. Whether you're this guy who wasted a whole round because he couldn't handle stairs for some reason, this waiter who was never going to be able to carry that many pints in the first place, or just this guy who got sprayed in the face when he tried to open a cask. What's the worst bad day you've ever had? Let me know in the comments down below, and thanks for watching.